We're moving house and we're moving 8 reptiles. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but here in the UK, pretty much you have to be out. As soon as the money's gone through, you get the call, get out of your house, move into the next one. And that's fine if you've got furniture in a van, but not when you have living creatures. And I have 8 rather large vivariums to move, a bunch of insects and snails, and so what we're going to do is move them to my parents a couple days before we actually move. So plan of action, first of all, I'm going to label all of the lights and heaters so we know whose is who. The night before we move them, I'm actually going to disconnect all their electronics because we're going to start like first thing in the morning and my parents aren't that far away, so as soon as we get them there, we'll set them all up there. And then like 2 days later, we should be in our new house so we can move the reptiles into the new house. One of the biggest challenges is Bernie, just because ever since I got him, I have not handled him. I have not rummaged through his soil. He has tunnels in there. He has plants that are doing well. I do not want to have to dig up this tank, but for his own safety, I have to get him out of this tank. So I've taken all the little doors off to make it easier to access everything, and they are now all labelled here, so we know whose is who. That looks so strange without the lids on. Obviously they're mesh on top so they can't get out, but that's where all the equipment would be and hide the plugs. Here's all the equipment I use for 7 of my reptiles. Obviously Bruce has all the equipment in his tank still, so yeah, it's quite a bit to move. It's officially moving day. My heart is pounding through my chest. I realise I've planned this for months and now it comes down to today, hopefully working out. We're starting with Rex and Bruce as they are the biggest, most awkward tanks. One thing I didn't consider is I'm going to have to try to find the reptiles in dark tanks. And Rex is very planted and very complex and loads of little hides, so this will be fun.
I don't know if we've got enough space.
Rex has his own room. You're going to set up all this equipment. It's only for a couple days, but you know, it's worth it. I want them to be comfortable and settle in, so yeah.
Now we'll take a break for.
Okay, so we have Rex out, we have Bruce out, we have Drogo out, and Lyra is technically in the tub over there, so then we just move her tank, and that will be half the reptiles down. Just gonna move Drogo in. Obviously he had nervous poop, and I was like, oh my god, where is he? He's hiding on the label. Very sneaky, but I'm gonna move him and Lyra in now. But all of their lights are now on. Lyra has also had a bit of an accident, but it's okay, Lyra. Right, Bernie has his own container. I've got the scales here so I can weigh him. I might actually use these to section off part of his tank so it's easier to narrow it down where he is, but I'm slightly scared. I have not touched this tank and it's grown so well, so I really don't want to mess it up, but I've got to get him out. Okay, I had to pretty much tear the tank apart, but I managed to find him and weigh him, and he is about 49 grams. So he has gained weight since living here, but he's still a smaller skink. And as someone pointed out in my last video, he's obviously regenerated his tail before I got him. So he's got a little less skink, but there he is. We've got Minnie. Diego. Oh no, it's Maui. Hi Maui. And Diego. So we're at the other end with the rest of the tanks. I've just put the leads around to here, all around the front, instead of trying to loop them around the back and make it look pretty, because they're only going to be here like a day. So everything's connected, everything's safe. It just looks ugly because this is what the back usually looks like. But yeah, I'm just now trying to set up the tanks and then I will move them in. Right, I'm going to start with moving Bernie. Can you see him? No, me neither. So he is quite difficult to find. Oh, I found him. There he is. I think he looks like he's going to shed soon. Yes, because he's not that bright. So I'm going to put him in. And Maui. There you go. I also just put in Minnie and Diego, totally forgot to film it, but they're also in.
So it's the next morning in a very empty, echoey reptile room, which actually feels very big. This morning I had the instinct to come in here, open the blind, check on the reptiles, but they were not here.
Okay, it's like a day or two later and we are moving the reptiles. All of this is unplugged and we're beginning with the crested gecko, chahua and blue-tongued skink. So we've got Bruce and Lyra and Drogo. They're in the future reptile room here. Obviously it's going to get redecorated, new flooring and everything. But for now, whilst we set up their rack in the other room, they are in their future reptile room. Right, so we've got the rack in here, which is wild, because if you remember, this used to take up like one whole side of my reptile room. This is a living room, so this is where they're just going to stay temporary whilst we do up the reptile room. Today happens to be an extremely wet day. It's pouring down, so I've tried my best to dry this off. But yeah, now for the tanks. So we've now got Rex's tank in. I think that's it for the day, and then tomorrow we're going to do the leopard geckos and the fire skink. Right, when I tell you it took 20-30 minutes to find Bernie, I'm not even joking. I mean, the only reason we found him is because he launched out of the tank. Definitely not a handling species, and his entire tank has been dug up now. Once we have him moved, he'll be settled. Everything else needs unplugging. Oh my goodness, I don't want to move another reptile after we have moved these. There's only these 4 left, but yeah, would not recommend. In terms of the glass doors, I wrap them in towels to hopefully avoid them smashing. Luckily, it's a very short journey. Obviously, all the equipment's already off. And anything like, obviously cork isn't heavy, but I had to get that out anyway for Bernie, but anything like that, or like heavy slate, I put in a separate bucket so we don't have to try to lift that, as well as the tank. And the second tower is in. Obviously, I haven't filmed a lot of it because frankly, you know, I don't want to be the annoying person filming it when I should be helping carry stuff. You can see there's a lot of handprints and stuff. I think that one caught some white paint on the way, but I'm gonna set this all up and then we finally got all our reptiles in our new home. And this is how the future reptile room is currently looking. We have reptiles in tubs, we have feeder insects in tubs, we have equipment and decoration, and all of this is going in my living room for now because this whole room will be redecorated. Come here. Oh, look at you. Is that a bit of skin on your head? Okay. You see him? Oh, my beautiful Bernie. This is the only time I'm ever going to probably get to handle you. So I'm taking it all in. Look at that.
Hey, Bruce. So it's been about a week since we moved in, and I honestly don't know where that time's gone. Like, it has been non-stop. Obviously, the reptiles are here in the living room still. It's going to be a little while till they move, but thankfully we have enough room in here and enough plugs to support them, so they are totally comfortable in here, and we are getting work in for the reptile room, which mainly is just new flooring and electrics. Now, in terms of moving them, I don't want to have to move reptiles again. I only moved 8. I know people like Jess from Jessica's Animals Friends. She is moving over 80 animals over the course of like the last few months, and she still has many to go, so I really do feel for her. I know people with monitor lizards who, I don't know how you guys do it, frankly. So yeah, I don't want to have to move again. Obviously, we're going to have to move them into the reptile room once that is done, and that'll be a whole thing. But what I did do, and I don't think I mentioned this, but I didn't actually feed the reptiles over the period of moving them. So I probably fed them a day or 2 before I moved them. And then when they were at my parents', I didn't feed them because the temperatures were going to be different. There was going to be the stress of the fact they had to be moved, and they probably wouldn't eat. Then when we got them here, I left it a night and then I fed them the next night and they all ate. The only one I haven't seen since moving is Bernie, but that isn't really surprising since he's already quite secretive and now he's in a room where there's a lot more activity, so he is probably hiding. But yeah, I would recommend, if you are going to be moving with your reptiles, if there's going to be temperature differences, there's going to be stress, it's likely they don't want to eat, so just hold off feeding them if you can. Obviously, if your move is taking a lot longer than mine, you might want to feed them. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.